Hi, welcome to part 2 of Advanced Google Classroom. I'm going to focus on grading today and different ways that you can grade within Google Classroom. So first, what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how you can add some different things when you create an assignment, and then I'll show you what to do once the assignment is done and when you have some grades for students to do. Okay, so let's go into, I have an old Google Classroom from a few years ago, so we'll go in there. When I create an assignment, okay, and as we know, we've got these options here. The only things we can assign grades to are the quiz assignment and the regular assignment. You can also do a Kami assignment if you have Kami enabled within that, which I do. A question, I believe you can add points to. I'd have to double check that, but material you cannot. Okay, so I'm going to go to assignment, and I'm just going to call this sample assignment. Now, what I can do over here, it defaults to 100 points. You can change the default if you want. You can make it ungraded, or you can just highlight the points and you can change the value, okay? You can have a due date, or you can leave it with no due date. If it says a due date, and then it will alert the students on their Google Classroom, like when it's coming up, when it's getting close to being due. I always go here and assign it to a topic. I'm not going to just for this example, but in class, I always do put it under a topic. Now, we do have the option to create a rubric here. If this is more like a writing sample or a project or something that is not exactly clear-cut right or wrong points, you can attach a rubric, and I'll show you what this looks like. You can also do originality reports, and what that will do is specifically if this is a writing assignment, what it will do is it will go out to Google, and when the student submits their work, and actually before too, they can run an originality report and it will detect plagiarism. So that is a tool there. Now you can only, with the version that we have, you can only enable it on 3 assignments per class, okay? And then the students can only run it, I think, 2 or 3 times as well. So just know that that is an option there that you can explore. I would say specifically if you teach English, is probably the only person maybe who would use that, or like in science or social studies if you're doing like a research report. Okay, let's take a peek at the rubric. So rubric, you can do a couple things. I know some of you have rubrics already created in Google Sheets or in Excel. Okay, you can transfer those directly to here, which is pretty awesome. It's actually really easy. All you do is say import from Sheets. Okay, you can reuse a rubric. Once you create it in Google Classroom, you can reuse it on another assignment or within another class. So you only have to create it once. Let's go to create rubric though. And excuse me, you can use scoring or you can turn off point values. I'm not sure why you want to do that if you're making a rubric. Okay, but here's your criterion title, your description, and then you're going to have the point levels. Okay, so if you wanted to do spelling and grammar, then you would add, whatever you want to say about that. Make sure to double check your spelling and reread your writing to make sure it makes sense. Okay, so then you would have however many points you want, okay? You would have a level title like advanced, proficient, whatever you want to have. I'm just going to do 3 levels here for you. Proficient, and then you would say, like on your rubric, what if they're proficient, what does that mean? What does that show, okay? So you might say very few spelling errors, no major grammatical errors. It was clear that effort was made on this assignment. Something like that. Okay. Now you've got 3 dots here. That is delete this level. So like once you have more, if you want to add more, you can. So then I add a level. Okay, now I'm going to say this one is 2. So this is adequate, I guess. I don't know. And then some spelling errors that interfere with understanding the writing also has several grammatical errors. Okay, something like that. Then we'll add a 1. And maybe we need improvement. Okay, many errors in both spelling and grammar. Not much effort was put into this assignment. Something like that. However you want to word it. Obviously, you'll spend more time and make it better. Now, I could add another criteria. So if I want more than just spelling, I'll do that. I'm just going to show you how this looks. So it automatically calculates like the max amount of points possible as 3. If I had other criterion, it would add up all those, okay? So I've got a couple of 3-dot options here. So if I click this, I can duplicate this criterion so that I don't have to recreate all of these, okay? I can also move them up and down when I have them and put them in whatever order I want. I can also, if I click here, I can just totally delete this rubric if I want to start over, okay? But I'm going to save. And so now I have a rubric here. I'm just going to show you how this looks on the student side. So let me get into the student side real quickly. I'm going to say assign here. So now they've got, and obviously the points don't match up. You would make sure all of that matches. Come on. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to actually add my student here. To this class. And there we go. Let me drag over. This is the student side. Okay. Let's join this class, and then I'll show you what the rubric looks like on the student side. Okay. I'm going to go to classwork, and right here. Oh, I forgot. That was sample assignment. There we go. So the student will see it like right here, but if they go into view assignment, this is what I want to show you. Okay. They see this. They can pop it open. So if they click on like the title of it, then they'll see this. So as they're working, now I've only used this once or twice, but I showed my students, look at the top column. Look at what is required or expected of you. And then try to complete all of that. And then what they will do, and they can't grade themselves, so no worries of that. Okay, they will click mark as done. And then we will go back to the sample. And now I have a student with it turned in. So now I'm going to view that assignment. And this is what it looks like. So if I click on this student, here's my rubric. This is so easy, you guys. On the rubric, this is a 3, a 2, or a 1. I don't even have to pop it open. I can literally give them a 3, a 2, or a 1 right here if I really know my criteria specifically. So now if I click that, here is what happens, okay? If I give them a 3 out of 3 on that, look at my points. It gave them a 20 out of 20. If I click this, look at that. It automatically calculates what 2/3 is, 2/3 of 20 points. So I love it. And then if I click here, again, calculates that point amount. Very, very cool. So now if I give them this, okay, and I return, let me show you on the student side. Now, this is what they see. They see it highlighted in blue or whatever color that matches your Google Classroom. Okay, now if they have point values that are lower, they can fix it and they can resubmit, and you can go back and forth as many times as you need to get that fixed up. So I love this rubric feature right in here because you don't have to do, there was another tool a while back that had, I think it was called Goobrick, very cumbersome to use. This is built right in, and I love it. So that is the rubric tool that you can use. I'm going to show you now, if I go to something else, let me move myself here. Okay, so that's multiple ways that you can actually assign grades in Google Classroom. Now, once our grades are done, let's click on the grades tab and take a peek here. This is basically a spreadsheet, and it has your students. You can sort it by however you want to. So let me show you the options here. You can sort by first name and last name. You can click on each assignment. So if I click on that assignment, it actually takes me to the assignment page. You can see which things are missing, which things here. If it just says not turned in, that just means they did not click turn in. It doesn't mean you don't grade it. It depends on your philosophy on that, but you can see if they did it late. You can see if it's totally missing. Or you have it. You back up. Can't talk. So if it's got a green score here with no points given, that means they've turned it in, but you haven't graded it. Okay. So if it's green, this means it has not been graded. If you click on the 3 dots, you can view the actual submission from this page, or you can return their work. Either way. Okay. There's really not a way to sort other than by first and last name. There's not a way to sort the assignments really. So you just kind of have to use the scroll bars to go back and forth among the students, okay? But there are a couple things that you can do with this tool. Of course, you can grade them right from here. So if I click on this, I can actually give them their points right from here. But I don't love that because I'm not actually looking at their assignments here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go in to this assignment. Okay. And so, look at student work. Oh, that's not a good one. One moment. Let's go to, okay, let's go to here. Okay, so this, they have some reflections. They do like a daily reflection here, and it's only 5 points. Okay, so what I can do, a couple things. If I click on a student, let me go here. I can do a couple things. I can grade it from right here. Let me let this load here. Okay, So I can do a couple things here. So up here, I have each student. And it shows me currently, like if it's turned in, if it's not. If it's green, I know I need to grade it, okay? I can look at this student's work. I can add comments. I can do private comments. I can use my Mote tool. And Mote is for audio feedback, and it allows you to record 1.5 minutes. I realized on the previous one, because I have my headphones in, you can't hear it. So you won't be able to hear the recording, but all I have to do is click on Mote, and now it's recording and it's transcribing my words as I'm talking. So if I click done, I can send this to the student. So if I click post, it's got my words here and I can play it. And if I don't want this anymore, I can edit. I know you can't hear that. Okay. So I can utilize that tool, which is much faster than typing. I can put a grade in here. Okay. I can change the total points from this screen as well. I can also add a comment bank. Okay. So I can have a bank of comments that I regularly use. So you can see right here, I might click, great job. I'm going to say copy to clipboard. There's unfortunately not a faster way to do that, which I don't love. And then you just paste. I wish it was faster. I wish you could click it here, but you can't. So then, okay. So now I'm going to paste. There we go. So again, this was bank, your comment bank. So you can create a bank. You can search for certain comments. If you have a ton, you can search. You can always delete the comment. You can edit it, whatever you want to do there for the comment. You can certainly add to their work. You can edit their work. You can, it's automatically in suggesting mode. So if you go up here, you can go to editing, and then you can edit their work or add things or type. If you want to type feedback right on their document, you can do that there. Okay. So I think that is all of the tools here. Now, here's my workflow, okay? You do not have to go back and forth to Google Classroom to click on the next student. You can simply do this. If you want to go to a specific student, you can click here. You can also sort them by status if you want to do that. Like if you have some that have turned them in and some that haven't, sort them by last name, however you want to. You can click on it there, or you can click this little arrow and it goes right to the next student. That's honestly the fastest way to get through all of your work. And then you'll have the work here, okay? Let me go to another student. Okay, so this is how that works. Very fast. You put the points, put a comment, and then what I do, I don't return every single one after I'm done. When I do that, I click, oh, come on. I think because this is an old assignment, but normally you could click return and it can return one student at a time. I don't do that. That's wasting my time. What I do is I hit this drop down menu and then it'll say return multiple submissions. And then I return them all at once. That's just a time saver trick that I use. Okay. As far as everything else, I don't believe there's any other tools. Again, there's this Mote recording tool for leaving private comments. And then what I do after I'm all done grading, I leave this grading screen. You will see it all updated in here, and you will see it all updated on the grades tab. Now, one other thing I want to show you with grades is that you have to do this from within an assignment. I did not find a way to do it within the grades tab. So the only way to really do this is from within an assignment. But if you click on the gear while you're in one, you can actually download all these grades. So you can download these grades as a CSV, which is just called comma separated values. It's just a fancy way of saying it's a spreadsheet, but a very simple spreadsheet, okay, with no fancy fonts or anything like that. So you can download these grades as a CSV. Let me show you what that option is. If I download as CSV, it's actually for me going to open in Excel. This is what it looks like, okay? So it has their first name, their last name, their email address, and their grade, and then it shows me their assignment status, okay? And then any comments that I have left. That's what that shows. That is just, I'm not going to save that. That is just for this one assignment. If I wanted to do all of their grades, I could download all grades as CSV. It's going to open in Excel. If you don't have Excel, you can still put that CSV file in Google Drive. But they do also have copy all grades to Google Sheets. So if I do this, this does, I believe, look a little fancier. Let's take a peek here. Yes. So this is in Google Sheets. It makes a fancy grading sheet where it calculates all of their class average. It will have it for the class, it'll have it for each student, what their average score is. Okay. And again, it does look a little nicer. But what you can do is you can actually upload this into PowerSchool. I think it's a little cumbersome to do that, only because it's just time consuming, and I would rather just go through and like type in the points. That's just me. Okay, so if I wanted to make this, I can go File, Download, and I can call it a CSV, so comma separated values. Okay, the only thing though, you have to have their student ID numbers in here. So you're going to have to add a column and put all their student ID numbers in there. Okay, that's the only thing, is just time consuming for me. And then you will upload that CSV file. So let me show you what that looks like here. So now this is a CSV file of all of their grades for the class. And basically, like I said, this is simple version, fancy version, okay? Very simple version. Now, I can upload this if I put in their student ID numbers. If you have a roster, you can just copy and paste too. So if that's the way you want to go, that might be the option for you. So that is, again, you have to be in an active assignment and click on this gear to go to all of those options, okay? I also want to show you, when I go to the main page here, there are some options originally when you set up the classroom for grading. So if I go to the gear here, and I go back to this About My Classroom page, and I go down to grading, I've got some options here. So overall grade calculation, I can do that. I can do total points, or I can do weighted by category. Okay. I can also show this overall grade to my students. And then if I choose the weighted by category, I can add a grade category. So if I wanted to say that projects are worth 60% of their grade, I could do that. If I say tests and quizzes are 25%, and then it even shows you how much is remaining. And then classwork is 15%. It will do all of that. It shows you all of that, and then you can click save. Okay. So now when I click grades, should update that here. See how it says overall grade? Let's give it a minute to update here. Okay, so it will have an overall grade, and I did this after the fact, so it's probably, you want to set that all up ahead of time. But it does not show me a current grade here because I don't have those categories. So now that I have them by categories and I create a classroom, actually, let's just go back to my sample assignment. And aha. So now when I have points, notice now it says grade category. Okay. So if this is just classwork, I choose that, and then it will categorize it. The reason, and you just save. The reason that it didn't show on this page, it says no grades. I did not create those categories prior, so none of my assignments have a category, so it can't calculate anything. Does that make sense? So if you want to utilize the Google Classroom grading features that it has, you got to set it up ahead of time at the beginning. Okay. So if you're interested in doing those weighted categories, you can do that, but you've got to set that up ahead of time so that as you're making each assignment, you can say what the category is for that assignment. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Again, if you guys have any questions about any of this, please make sure to reach out to me. I'm more than willing to help you through it, walk through it with you. But all you have to do is ask. Okay. So hopefully enjoy figuring out some things in Google Classroom, enjoy using some of those more advanced tools in Google Classroom, and hopefully getting a little more out of Google Classroom. I think it actually does more than what a lot of people think that it does. So thank you for watching. Have an amazing day. Bye.